It's been great, and she's been a joy, but caring for two kids is a moral obligation. Princess Charlotte, 9, showed empathy beyond her years in a breathtaking moment that's garnering global attention. Young royal made a brave and surprising move while on a typical royal engagement. She gently befriended a homeless man and brought him home. What followed was astounding. Royal servants, press, and fans were speechless after Kate Middleton's passionate, unplanned reply. What transpired within the palace that day is touching and historic. This poignant royal encounter will wow you. Several moments. A group of Year 3 kids from Thomas's Battersea left on a cold, dreary London morning for a school trip. There were no flashing cameras or royal procession, just a bus ride to a small, inconspicuous community shelter beyond the city's pristine streets. The shelter lacked style. Its rooms had cracked paint and outdated furniture. Secretly, innumerable misery stories unfolded in this humble home. In this humble setting, fate began to tell a fascinating story via an 8-year-old princess. Princess Charlotte noticed the shelter's weight while other children skipped and laughed. A girl unlike anyone else in the room sat quietly on a dilapidated chair near a shadowed doorway. Her hair was disheveled, her clothes were too big, and a used book lay in her lap. This was Isla. She wasn't in the school group, but was looking for comfort and calm in life's challenges. She grabbed her book closely, a little barrier from the world. The next event was unusual for royalty. No speeches, no great gestures, just a youngster helping another. Charlotte calmly approached and sat by Isla without a royal entourage or adults. No titles or formality were discussed. Instead, they chatted about their favorite books, dreams, dogs, and obstacles like any two kids. In this polite exchange, a powerful connection was quietly formed on genuine listening and compassion, not pity. Isla refused sympathy and aid. Instead, she quietly talked of her love of painting, her mother's cooking, and her dream of having a pet. Charlotte didn't like Isla because of her troubles. She was inspired by the girl's quiet courage and strength. Charlotte sensed a new sort of bravery, a heroism developed from struggle and resilience. In that touching moment with Isla, which would resonate far beyond the shelter. Returning to Kensington Palace, that recognition caused a quiet but profound transformation. A simple chat would challenge centuries of tradition, offering light and hope where it was least anticipated and reminding everyone that true connection knows no limits, even royal ones. That beautiful encounter with Isla was just the start. What palatial surprises await? A joyful journey could change royal traditions forever. Find out what happens next. Minor letter, major change. There was hushed talk and silverware clinking as the royal family gathered around the huge polished dining table in Kensington Palace that evening. One individual at the table was quiet. Princess Charlotte, typically energetic and full of day-to-day anecdotes, sat quietly pushing her peas around her plate. Her thoughts were with Isla at the shelter, not the dinner table. Kate, the ever-observant mother, noticed immediately. "Is everything okay, love?" she asked softly, setting down her fork. William also leaned in, curious. Charlotte stared up with a depth beyond her years. She claimed a girl was in the shelter today, named Isla. Very kind and brave. She has no home. She didn't cry. Not pleading. She casually asked Isla to come over for tea or a lawn game once, like a friend. No lofty plans, cameras, or charity headlines. Just a child's earnest request after seeing another child struggle, which the royal walls could never protect her from. Kate inhaled. Then she nodded slowly. "That's a very kind idea," she said. And with that simple act of agreement, something shifted. An invisible wall, one built over centuries of tradition and social division, started to crack. The next morning, Charlotte wrote a note in her neatest handwriting. It was full of sweet spelling mistakes, childlike honesty, and unfiltered kindness. "Dear Isla, I like meeting you. I told Mommy about you. Would you like to come for tea? We have dogs. Your friend? Charlotte." Later that week, Charlotte and Kate returned to the shelter, not with photographers, not with press coverage, but with hearts wide open. They met Isla and her mother, Amanda, a former librarian who had lost her job after falling ill. Her calm dignity and quiet strength stayed with Kate long after they left. "I'd love to help," Kate said, softly, but with meaning. 2 weeks later, Isla arrived at Kensington Palace. She wore a donated dress, a little too long, and shoes borrowed from a local charity box. But her head was held high. "Just be yourself," her mother had told her. And that's exactly what she did. Charlotte met her at the door. No curtsies, no formalities. Just a hug. The palace had tried to keep the visit secret, but whispers turned to headlines. Some called it bold, others reckless. Advisors warned Kate to retreat. She didn't. "We don't hide kindness," she said firmly. Soon after, a statement was released. "Every child deserves dignity, safety, and the chance to thrive. We are proud that Princess Charlotte responded with compassion and empathy." Princess Charlotte's gentle gesture proved that empathy knows no rank and compassion has no title. So now let's uncover what happened next. Boundaries with kindness. From that unforgettable day onward, something remarkable began to change, not only in Princess Charlotte's world or Isla's, but in the hearts of everyone who heard their story and saw what real royalty could truly mean. This story didn't explode in the news with scandals or flashy headlines. Instead, it traveled quietly and gently, carried on the gentle wings of kindness and warmth. Parents told their children about Charlotte's friendship with Isla. Schools began to talk more openly about kindness, understanding, and seeing beyond differences. Ordinary people, touched by the tale, started helping others in their neighborhoods, showing that small acts could mean a lot. Behind the scenes, real help began to take shape. The Royal Foundation quietly stepped forward without any fanfare or big announcements, offering practical support. Isla was given a full scholarship to a respected school, something she had only dreamed about before. Her mother, Amanda, was offered part-time work, which soon became a steady job. Most importantly, they found a safe, steady home. Not a palace, not something fancy, but a place where they could truly feel secure and belong. When Isla came back to visit the palace, she no longer felt nervous or out of place. She walked tall and confident, knowing she was truly welcomed. In a small, peaceful room, Charlotte and Isla spent long afternoons painting side by side. They giggled over funny drawings and made colorful friendship bracelets, building memories that were far richer and more meaningful than any royal event. Kate, quietly standing by the door, didn't pause for photos or make a show. Instead, she smiled softly, understanding that something extraordinary had blossomed from something very simple. A kind conversation, a heartfelt note, and a shared cup of tea. As the months passed, the ripple of change grew even stronger. At a private garden party hosted by the palace in the gentle bloom of spring, Isla returned once more, this time walking hand in hand with Charlotte. No cameras were flashing, no formal introductions, just two girls simply enjoying each other's company. Charlotte wore a delicate lavender dress, and Isla wore shoes picked from a donation bin. But none of that mattered. Everyone saw what truly counted, a joyful and honest friendship. The guests watched quietly, touched by the genuine connection between the two girls. One youth advocate later said, "This wasn't a show. It wasn't a royal performance. Charlotte wasn't acting like a princess. She was simply being a friend." And that in the end was the most powerful and surprising thing of all. For centuries, the palace had been a place of strict rules, grand ceremonies, and distance between people. But it had rarely, if ever, seen something as deeply revolutionary as this. A young princess choosing to treat another child not with power or privilege, but with simple equality and kindness. No speeches were given. No royal commands were made. Just a warm, open heart, shining quietly behind those palace walls. In the end, not just grand speeches or royal decrees that shaped the future, but simple acts of kindness and the courage of a child willing to see another as her equal. So now, let us explore how compassion spoke louder than titles. From unexpected steps to lasting impact. What started as a simple, unplanned visit to a community shelter in London quickly transformed into something far more meaningful and unforgettable. When Kate Middleton arrived unexpectedly with her young daughter, Princess Charlotte, they didn't just step into an ordinary building. They stepped into a moment that would mark a powerful turning point. The shelter staff were caught off guard, their eyes widening in surprise at the sight of royalty walking through their doors without warning. But they quickly composed themselves and led Kate and Charlotte to a small, quiet side room. There, sitting side by side was Amanda, a weary but proud woman, and her young daughter, Isla. Their faces told stories of tough times and challenges faced, yet their spirits remained unbroken and strong. Kate's approach was gentle and genuine. She didn't act like a princess asking for attention or favors. Instead, she came as a mother, deeply touched by something her daughter had experienced. Princess Charlotte had met Isla before during a school visit, and the quiet courage and strength of this young girl had stayed in her heart. Now, Kate wanted to meet Isla for herself and understand more about the life behind that brave face. As Amanda began to tell her story, a story filled with the heartbreak of losing a job, battling illness, and slowly falling into the grip of homelessness. Kate listened closely. She didn't react with pity or distance. Instead, she listened with a focused, caring purpose. When Kate finally spoke, her voice was calm but filled with quiet determination. "I want to help." This was no grand promise made from a place of privilege or power. A mother made a sincere offer. Kate gently asked Isla and Amanda whether they wanted to visit the palace before departing. Amanda wept and nodded silently, hopeful. Charlotte could barely contain her joy that evening at home. "Mommy, she's having tea," she excitedly exclaimed. But Kate and Charlotte had no idea that this simple visit would soon unleash a tsunami of unexpected, powerful, and promising transformation for Amanda, Isla, and many others. What started as a quiet time between two families became much more. It reminded us that kindness and attention, especially from unexpected sources, can have far-reaching effects. Compassion turned into action, and a tiny gesture of warmth gave hope for the future. For now, the story unfolds. A spontaneous visit has led to promise, stress, and transformation. Time to reveal how a fiery young royal is guiding her. Princess Charlotte's sweet legacy. A day of smiles, laughter, and quiet moments showed how close Princess Charlotte is to her mother, Kate Middleton. The way they communicated, sharing glances, matching smiles, and natural ease around each other made their closeness obvious. Charlotte is Kate's mirror image, according to a palace insider who spoke to People for their May 6th cover story. With affection, the source called her a mini-me. That likeness goes beyond appearances. Their love of athletics is evident. Charlotte is sporty, like her athletic mother, the insider said. She enjoys ballet, tap dance, rugby, and soccer, making her a well-rounded athlete. Her passion for games isn't the only thing. She acts that way. Charlotte is recognized for her field grace and fairness, even routinely praising opposition players. Good sportsmanship and emotional maturity are rare in a young person. Charlotte doesn't just remind folks of Kate. Royal biographer Robert Hardman said Charlotte resembles her great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. Hardman said Charlotte had practical common sense, like the Queen. He added Charlotte's quiet strength resembles Her Majesty's, who died in September 2022, aged 96. This consistency has also been observed in public events. Charlotte seems natural at royal duties, which can overwhelm many kids. A family insider said she handles public events with ease and confidence. Source says she's at royal occasions like a duck to water. Charlotte is mature enough to walk in processions and attend national events. This serenity is linked with self-confidence. Another source called her powerful and considered her wise above her years. Charlotte's influence is seen whether she's strolling with her brothers at formal events or cheering on her teammates from the sidelines. Growing up in the spotlight. Certainly, but with the heart of a child and the grace of a future leader. Princess Charlotte embodies her mother's warmth and love of athletics, her great-grandmother's resilience and devotion, and her own spark. As Charlotte advances in the family saga, observers wonder what future she will create and who will be left behind. Let's explore Charlotte's quiet disobedience. Echoes in corridors. On a gloomy Thursday morning, Isla approached Kensington Palace's magnificent gate as a child. A dress from her mother and shoes too big for her small feet were worn. She remembered her mother's loving instruction. Give thanks, be compassionate, be yourself. Princess Charlotte met her at the entrance with a hearty hug, no bows or curtsies. The kind only little girls give their best friends. That little deed communicated a powerful, quiet message. Status and titles didn't matter. The two girls were children inside the castle walls. They went barefoot around the royal gardens, gathered flowers from the meadows, and giggled at childish antics. Ever watchful but never intrusive Kate Middleton became a mom away from the royal spotlight. She brought refreshments, providing a space of joy and freedom without cameras or public eyes. Laughter filled the halls for hours, a rare moment of purity in the ancient royal walls. This calm bubble wasn't meant to stay. Within days, a royal staff member mistakenly announced Isla's presence at a private dinner. News traveled swiftly, and tabloids covered it. Questions swirled. Who was Isla? She was welcomed to the palace. Why? Was this PR? Palace officials advised caution, fearing this unexpected friendship would backfire. One top assistant warned, "It's a sweet story, but risky." Kate remained steady. "We don't disguise friendliness," she remarked frankly. With quiet resolve, Kate took control of the story with a well-worded statement through the Royal Foundation, emphasizing compassion, dignity, and the right of every child to thrive. Her words resonated. Praise and support flooded social media. Parents everywhere told how Charlotte's kindness motivated their children to be more nice and welcoming. But Kate's actions went beyond words. She discreetly organized Isla's family's aid. She got Isla a scholarship, helped Amanda find safe housing, and helped her find new jobs. Isla returned to Kensington Palace as a friend, not a guest. The palace's art room became their shelter, a bright, colorful environment full of crayons, paint brushes, laughter, and a rare sense of equality in such majestic surroundings. In this unexpected friendship, the royal walls soften, reminding everyone that even in the most regal surroundings, small acts of compassion have the greatest power. Despite smiles and laughing, rumors in the palace halls raised doubts about what this friendship meant and how it would change the royal narrative. Does this imply their friendship will end? Find out. Isla and Princess Charlotte's narrative remained in mind over the months. It transformed gently into something real. Life changed for Isla away from headlines and royal buzz. Her adjustment to her new school was surprising, and she rapidly topped her class. Her mother, Amanda, worked part-time before finding a full-time career. Peace transformed their home life, not press, publicity, or plaudits. Their fear faded into security and peaceful pride. The bond between Isla and Charlotte also lasted. If anything, it grew. The two girls communicated like buddies. Weekend sleepovers, munchies, goofy games, and blanket secrets. Some days, they played in Kensington Palace's vast gardens. Charlotte occasionally visited Isla's tiny, modest apartment. There were no paparazzi or royal aides watching, just two children united by friendship rather than position. The Kensington Palace Spring Charity Garden Party followed, an annual formal gathering with donors, academics, and community leaders. A polished event with speeches and smiling images is typical. Something much more poignant took the focus this year. Charlotte came with Isla as people milled among manicured hedges and tea tables. Two girls, one regal and the other homeless, entered the palace lawn as equals without ceremony or declaration. That silent moment showed they perceived no difference between them. But not because of Isla's history, guests noted. Charlotte's warmth, comfort, and serenity moved them. She wasn't kind. She was being nice. Afterward, a kid advocate said there was no show. Charlotte didn't attempt to impress. She genuinely cared. Kate glanced at Amanda from nearby. Amanda quietly said, "She's happy," with tears in her eyes. Kate said, "She deserves it," with characteristic elegance. No more words were needed after that. No news releases. Photo ops were not planned. The story had been conveyed via kindness, courage, and a small girl's modest decisions. Charlotte's modest gesture of asking her acquaintance for tea challenged royal precedent in a society where images matter more than acts and titles may define relationships. It gently rewrote. By supporting her daughter's decision as a mother, Kate Middleton reminded the world that love, friendship, and the quiet bravery to do what's right can change the world. How do you view Kate Middleton's response to Princess Charlotte's action? We want to hear your comments below. Remember to like and subscribe.